All right, somebody in the chat, can you let me know if the volume's okay? I'm just checking the volume. Okay, cool. All right, I can't tell if anyone's on. I know my wife is. Anyway, I'll just get started. There's a lot of information, and I think the NFL draft starts at 8, so I know I'll start losing people, so I'll get started. So, crypto for the curious, the good stuff the news doesn't tell you. I'm Sean Hope, founder of Hope3 Labs. We build this stuff. It's not a sales pitch, don't worry, but just want to get that out of the way. So, what to expect, what crypto actually is, how it connects to the new internet, or basically how it is the new internet, how to buy crypto safely, how to secure it, and how not to get scammed. All right, so jumping right in. Crypto news headlines that get most of the airtime. The first one I have up here is Bitcoin hitting $106,000. That's a ton of value. And most people buying it probably don't know what it does or what it is. It hit 106,000. I think it was December, January this year, or late December last year. Since then, it's dropped, and I think now it's around 95,000. But anyway, the reason I put it up here is because if you turn on the news or watch CNBC or something like that, you're going to hear about Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana. Those are the main ones that you see on like the ticker, CNBC's ticker at the bottom. But they don't really get into what these things are or what they do, or talk about some of the ones that do a lot more than those three. We'll get into those today. All right, so the second news headline. Online star Hope3 girl faces crypto coin criticism. All right, so that headline says a whole bunch of nothing, but like what really happened, this girl got internet famous for saying Hope3 on the internet, and then because she had some internet fame, she got tied up with a couple of crypto bros or whatever. They created this meme crypto coin. They called it Hope3. They had her come in and pump it up. And basically, what they did was, it was one or a few guys. They create this coin. They pump it up all online. They get somebody like her to come in and give it some legitimacy. And then once enough people buy into it, they sell all of theirs and crash everything out. So and everybody loses all their money except for the original people. So this is what we consider like a meme coin. It doesn't really do anything, and its value comes almost majoritively from people just jumping on the bandwagon and buying it. But most of us get in way too late and don't get out early enough. So I think the main message is here. These news stories, they create a lot of fear. Stay away from crypto. It's all scams. And I agree, most of it is scams, but there are things that do have value, are investable, and do things. So the third one, Sam Bankman-Fried, sentenced to 25 years for multi-billion-dollar FTX fraud. All right, so this one's a little bit more complicated. So this guy, who literally looks like he sleeps on a beanbag, got this FTX. Basically, it's just an exchange. It's where you like buy and sell crypto. He got this exchange up to 30 some odd $billion in value. Bunch of people funneling money in, and he either managed it or allowed people to buy and sell crypto on his platform. Meanwhile, what he did was he had a second company, a hedge fund, that he was making pretty what's a good word for it? Adventurous crypto investments, and he was losing a lot of money. So he was shuffling money back and forth between FTX and his hedge fund. House of Cards, it all kind of fell down, and he ended up losing close to $8 billion of customer funds. So another fear headline: stay away from crypto. It's scammy, and again, there are a lot of scams. But if you stay away from this flashy or meme coins and stuff like that, and just stick to the ones that do provide value and are safe to use, you'll be okay. And we'll go through that today. All right, so some crypto news headlines that are kind of boring but paint a bigger picture. So first one, this happened January 21st of this year. This video, it's an interview. You can Google search it. It's pretty good. I recommend it. But so the Bank of America CEO says the financial industry will jump into crypto payments if regulators allow for it. So historically, banking regulators have been hard on allowing financial institutions to use crypto or to offer crypto as products for their banking customers. So he's coming out and saying, "Hey, we'll use this stuff if we're allowed to." So then we have less than a month ago, March 28th, FDIC, a banking regulator, came out and said, "Hey, we're going to ease up on crypto regulation. So if you guys want to start, looking into this or offering these as products, we're easing up on that regulation." And then the third headline. So I grabbed this right off of Swift's website. What's Swift? Swift is a messaging service that global banks use to send money cross borders. So let's say that the U.S. owes Japan $100 million. The U.S. bank will use Swift to send a message to the Japanese bank saying, "Hey, we owe you $100 million. We're good for it. We're going to send it to you." And then the Bank of Japan gets that message, and then banks on each side, they'll settle on, there'll have to be currency conversion and stuff like that on both sides. Takes 3 to 5 days, and there's typically fees on both ends. So it's expensive, and it takes 3 to 5 days to settle on both ends. This headline is saying that global banks that use Swift are looking to trial digital asset transactions starting this year. Digital asset transactions is crypto. Just another thing, Swift, I think they do $150 trillion in bank transfers a year, so that's a lot of use. All right, so WTF is that crypto lingo. So words to familiarize yourself with. So we have ledger or digital ledger. Sometimes it's referred to as digital ledger technology or DLT. A lot of terms, but they all mean the same thing. Ledger, blockchain, pretty much the same thing. Smart contract, tokenization, DAOs, and liquidity. So let's use this fancy vending machine off to the side. Instead of stickers and bear claws and Gatorades, we have houses, cars, and artwork. So what this is really meant to represent are, digital representations of real world assets. So that house on A1 could be 123 Main Street or whatever. And then, that car could be a specific VIN number. So these are digital representations one-to-one with a real world asset. So let's use these terms for this vending machine. So a ledger blockchain, what that would really be like is if there was a printed receipt on the side of the vending machine that captured like every transaction. So it could say this, this person used this amount of money to buy this house at this date, and this person sold it. And that, that receipt or that running ledger posted on the side of the vending machine would be for everybody to see it. Nobody could change it, and it captures everything. That's really what a ledger and blockchain really is. It's just a running capture receipt of all transactions. Um, Smart contract. So that's kind of really what gets crypto to work. It's programming or code or applications that run on top of the crypto to tell it kind of what to do. So for our vending machine, a smart contract could be used to program like that A1 button to go and get that 123 Main Street house, deliver it properly to the purchase the person that purchased it, and then also captures it in on the ledger, that running receipt. That's basically what a smart contract is. Think of it just as an application or a set of rules that this crypto should follow. So tokenization. So what tokenization is the act of getting like a physical asset like a house into this vending machine, or online, a digital version of it. A couple of years ago, you might have heard of like NFTs. That kind of put a bad name to all of this. What they were doing a couple of years ago was basically just selling like a digital piece of artwork or whatever, calling it an NFT and charging a ton of money for it, calling it a collectible. A lot of people bought into it, a lot of people lost a lot of money. That's not what this really is. We do call them NFTs, but they are mapped, the digital representation is mapped back to a real world asset. So when you hear tokenization, that's basically what it is. DAOs are a little bit trickier. So basically, it stands for decentralized autonomous organization, but think of it just like a decentralized company. So, so for this vending machine, what I'm thinking is, or like a good example would be, like let's say like your neighbors or a couple of neighbors wanted to start throwing parties and they wanted to raise some money. What they could do, go all in together, buy this vending machine, and put it at the pool. I mean, their vending machine could have Snicker bars and soda and stuff like that. But like let's say these neighbors or this group of friends, whatever, that go in to buy this vending machine, they don't want to run it. They don't want to worry about getting it stocked. They don't want to run into like trusting each person will do their fair share and stuff like that. So what they would do is they could write smart contracts or just rules that, on a weekly basis, each of us get a 10% cut, 10% goes to the community fund, and then the rest goes to pay this neighborhood kid to keep the machine stocked or something like that. All that, it could be done through smart contracts. And then we have liquidity, basic term, but basically just think of it as how well that vending machine stays stocked up. If it doesn't have liquidity, if it's not stocked up, nobody's going to use it. It's just going to sit there. All right, so crypto. So just defining what crypto is. It's really just better internet infrastructure. So some of them, they'll move money. Some will secure data. Some will provide infrastructure. I know that sounds very like conceptual or whatever, but my example, I used XRP, or here we have XRP-L. That L really just stands for like ledger. So think of like XRP, which is the crypto, and then the L is like the infrastructure. So in our picture here, we have an XRP train on a railroad tracks or whatever. So think of like the ledger as that railroad track where the cryptos run on it. And then those container cars are the crypto. So they're containers of value. So right now, if you went out and to Coinbase or whatever, one XRP would be about $2.20. So if your house was worth $1 million, you would need 500,000 XRP to get a house worth of value. Now, if these train cars were a lot bigger, meaning they were worth a lot more, let's say $1,000 or $10,000, then you don't need as many to obviously get the value of a house. Again, I know that's kind of conceptual, but so the way that you would be able to get a house in this crypto would be through tokenization, but they could be other assets as well. Some of the train cars or some of the containers of value could just be other cryptos, or it could just be the liquidity, the money itself. So if I had a crypto, I wanted to send somebody $2.20, I could send them 1 XRP today. In their wallet, they'll have $2.20. In the future, through smart contracts and stuff like that, I send XRP and I buy a house with it, or a car, or something like that. So just further on with the definition, not all crypto is magic money. It's just better internet tech than we have now. So evolution of the web, Volvo edition. So I'm going to try to build out like the way the internet was and then where it's going. So Web 1, this was, I remember the internet starting in like 95, 96. But I grabbed this, what the Volvo web page looked like in 1999. So you could go to this website, Wayback Machine. You can type in any domain. Here I did Volvo. And then like from a calendar you can pick, well, show me what that website looks on this date. So I just went back as far as I could. But this is what a website looked like in 1999. Bad graphics, drop shadows. It didn't really do anything. It was just, you know, information, phone numbers, maybe some terrible images of like their cars and boats and stuff like that. But that was the internet. And then today, we have what we consider like Web 2 or Internet version 2, whatever. So now, if you go out there, you can see the car, you can customize it, you can change the color, change the rims, stuff like that. And then you can also, you know, order that car. Some of the other things that you can think about with how the internet's designed today, it also has the ability to get or connect to like real-time inventories and stuff like that. Now, why that's important, it kind of shows an internet web page connecting to, you know, a back-end server that holds data like the inventory of a dealership, and then the dealership also using that. So it kind of shows connectivity. Now I think where we're going, Web 3, it's all being built now, but this is when we're going to start seeing it and using it very soon. In addition to what you could do on Web 1, see the car, get the phone number to dealership, whatever. And then, in addition, you can today you can also go onto Volvo's website, customize it, order it, get real-time inventory and stuff like that. And then tomorrow, the value that Web3 and crypto brings is NFTs or tokenization. So you'll be able to buy the car once that car's paid off or paid for, whatever. Volvo will send you an NFT or a tokenized version of this. So this is something you would put in like your Apple Wallet or whatever crypto wallet you're using at the time. But what does that really mean? What does that do? When it comes time to like resell this car or something like that, theoretically you should be able to do that right from your NFT or through your wallet. What else is cool is, and I think this is more apparent on the next slide, it'll be able to capture data. So like if you were to go in and get your car serviced or something like that, or if it had major repairs, think of like what Carfax kind of captures now, will be captured in this, or could be captured in this NFT. So when you buy the car, you get all of its maintenance records and all that good stuff. So it's a way to hold a lot of value, but also provide a lot more additional information without having to have a Carfax account, have a Volvo account, have all these different accounts. You get the NFT, everything's contained there. All right, so this slide, it's got like a lot of text on it and stuff. Don't worry about like reading all that, the stuff at the bottom. I'm just trying to give like a couple of examples of like what could do this and like how this will be built out. There's four basic like layers on how this will work out. The ownership layer. So to get to that NFT Web3 phase that we had, Volvo will need to tokenize it. It'll need to say, hey, this VIN is this digital representation online, and anything that's added to it through maintenance records or sales or something like that gets captured in this token. So that's kind of what the the ownership layer kind of looks like. We have XRP, Tezos. And then we have the identity and access layer. So once Volvo creates that NFT token, we need to be able to assign an owner to it and get it to somebody's like crypto wallet. That whole kind of process and like how that works it would be the identity and access layer. Ethereum, XRPL are two that could do that. And then like again the cool stuff like what can we do with it? Can I if I go to sell it, how does that kind of work? That would be done through smart contracts. Now these two examples I do kind of want to talk out because they're slightly different. Ethereum, it's been around for a long time and it's very good at smart contracts. XRP, up and coming, it natively does not do smart contracts very well, but what it does do very well is what they call hooks. And basically all that means is other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum can work on XRP's network or infrastructure, or train tracks, whatever. So just two different kind of ways to look at those. And then, so if I was an investor in crypto, this is probably the column I would look at. Global payments, that's kind of like that SWIFT network that's doing trillions of dollars a year in payments and stuff. That's showing you that whoever, whatever crypto kind of fulfills that role will be used a lot. And for it to be used a lot, it kind of has to be worth a lot. So that's kind of the column I would look into. The second bullet, stable coins, I'll get into that in a minute. It's not really an investor or a builder type thing. So anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. All right, so one more example of kind of like how this stuff would work. Today, go on eBay, buy a Beanie Baby, $10. You get it shipped, you send $10, whatever. Tomorrow, through Web3, through wallets and stuff like that, you have this tokenized version of this rare Beanie Baby that's apparently worth $1,200. So the running stuff, the token history at the bottom of this tomorrow image, so that's kind of the things that can happen to NFTs. At the very bottom you'll see, and I know it might be small, but at the very bottom it says it's vaulted, the physical asset is held at this partnervault.io. So what does that mean? I think the way that like this tokenization is really kind of starting now, I think it might change, but the way it kind of works now, if you've ever seen the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin, when Steve Carell goes into that eBay store and Jonah Hill comes in and he wants to buy these boots or whatever, and she says, oh, we don't sell anything, and he was like, yeah, I thought you were a store, and she's like, no, I just take pictures of this stuff and sell it for other people. That's kind of what this process will look like. So like let's say you have like a rare collectible or something and you want to get it tokenized so you can put it on the blockchain and be able to do all this cool stuff with it. There are companies that will authenticate it or certify it or whatever, make sure it's like has some form of like identity so that it can tie one-to-one back to its digital representation or its token. Those do exist, and if you think that you may like want to sell it or something like that, you may keep that collectible or asset or whatever at this company, so that if you do ever go and sell it, they could ship it out or whatever. But it also provides the potential buyer a little bit of assurance that, oh, this thing exists, it's here, I can trust it a little bit more. So stuff like that can be captured in this running mini ledger of the token. And then kind of working back down, it was bought by some wallet, and then it was sold by this guy for this amount of Ethereum, and then it's traded between these two things. So all those, all of its transactions will be captured in this little wallet connected to the token of a real world asset. So yeah, just a lot of more history and a lot more metadata that these things will be able to collect. All right, so a lot on this slide too. I'll go through it pretty quick. I just want to, make sure that everyone knows I'm not saying that these are like the top 9 or anything like that. I just kind of tried to grab like bits and pieces. None of it's financial advice. It's just my research and opinions and stuff. So Bitcoin. So what does this one do? So today they call it digital gold, or like a store of value. It's been around for a long time. It was, the first. That's why it's worth, so much. But if we could talk about what store of value actually means. What it means is it doesn't do anything, but people trust that it's worth, today, $95,000 a coin. If that trust goes away, its value drops. Since Bitcoin doesn't do anything, it just kind of sits there, in my opinion, I think that there are probably better investments. Not saying that you can't make money off of it. I think there might be better investments. Ethereum, another one that's been around for a pretty long time. Again, it's very good at smart contracts and decentralized apps. I don't want to get into decentralized apps basically because I can't think of a good way to explain them. But the real world equivalent would be like an app store. So it would be crypto that allows for buying and selling and stuff like that pretty easily. And then the third one, XRP, very fast, very low cost international cross-border payments, real world equivalent SWIFT. And it's growing. So it's younger or newer than Bitcoin, Ethereum, and ones like that. But it is fast and it's low cost. Now, like, what does that mean? So for Bitcoin, it's very expensive to sell and to buy, sell, and transfer. All the fees are baked into like how busy the network is at the time. So like I've seen like use cases where to send like $1,000 took up to 2 hours and cost $60. I mean, that's crazy. XRP, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000 will cost you pennies, and it settles in 3 to 5 seconds. Binance Coin, I really don't want to get into too much. Binance is just another exchange, basically where you can buy, sell, and convert this stuff. But what they did was they created their own coin, like as a loyalty type thing. Hey, keep your crypto in our exchange, and we give you this loyalty coin, and you can buy, sell, or convert those. But anyway, I don't use Binance, and I don't own any of their crypto. But just as an example, this stuff is used for like loyalty and online tipping and stuff like that, because they can always be converted or sold for real money or other crypto. Fifth one we have is Solana. So it is considered like high speed. I haven't done a lot of research on Solana, and I only bought it one time. So some of you might have heard about like the Trump and Melania meme coins that came out earlier this year. I think it was probably late January, something like that. So to buy those meme coins, you had to buy Solana and then convert them over to. It was a disaster, but I wanted to try it, so I bought some Solana, and because there was so much volume, because Trump's name tied to it and all that stuff, it just had a ton of volume, and it crashed Solana's entire network. And I'm not saying that this is the only one that's ever had any issues, but it crashed pretty hard and it was down a long time. I remember my Solana being locked up, like I couldn't do anything with it for almost a week. And yeah, I don't know. So use that information how you will. All right, 6-1 Dogecoin. You probably heard of this one. So this is another meme coin. It doesn't really do anything. Think of like that Hope3 coin that we talked about earlier, but it doesn't really do anything. But it's been around for a while, and people kind of trust it, and people have made money on it. So it is what it is. I would consider it like a lottery ticket. I wouldn't put a ton of money on it, but if you wanted to put a little bit in it and just kind of see what happens, I guess that's understandable. Cardano. All right, so Cardano is basically like a next gen or new age Ethereum. Even though Ethereum hasn't been out that long, they are already trying to improve on it with Cardano. It's very secure. The one bad thing I think I could say about it is, and it's not even a bad thing, but it's development work, and like the developers that are building apps and solutions for this crypto, it seems to be like drawn out and stuff not staying on task. And everything that I've read is that it's because Cardano is very specific on quality control, and they don't want messy stuff going out. So like from a quality assurance standpoint, I think that's good. I would keep an eye on it. Hedera, HBAR, I won't get too much into it. It's known for being very secure. Some rumors that I've read is government, military type communications and stuff like that. So finally, have to talk about stablecoin. So stablecoins are not anything you would buy to invest in or anything like that. It's basically the equivalent of like a dollar. So it'd be like going into a bank and buying a dollar with a dollar. But it's a way to keep your money in crypto without converting it to like back to like fiat or US dollar. The one thing it removes is like the volatility. So just like as like a use case, like let's say you bought some XRP as like an investment, the price goes up, price goes down. The markets are always open, and it can be volatile. So if I were to send it to somebody, the value could change by the time it settles in even 5 seconds. So what the idea is, when you go to send somebody something, like an application would convert it to a stable coin, and then it's kind of pegged at like 1-to-1. It doesn't ever the value doesn't move. So think of that as like the cash version of crypto. All right, how to buy crypto. So here are a couple of like exchanges. These things are just apps or websites that you can download or go to on your computer or whatever. But I'll just give you like a quick rundown on a couple. So Coinbase, it's very easy to use. If you keep cash in there, it's FDIC insured up to a certain amount. It's widely used. It's the one that I started using, and I still use it just because it's so easy. But the fees are a little bit higher. They do offer something called Coinbase Advanced, which is like $30 a month, and it pays like all your fees and stuff. So if you think you're going to be investing a lot, I would just consider looking at Coinbase Advanced for like a month or two. It'll probably work out to be worth it. I don't think you can see it because my video cuts it off, but the vibe feel is kind of, if crypto had training wheel phase, this is it, but the fees will sneak up on you. So it is a little bit more expensive. Nothing outrageous, but it is a little bit more expensive. And then you have Uphold. I have used Uphold. I don't use it very much. Basically, it's a little bit clunkier than Coinbase, especially the way that like you fund the account from your bank. But anyway, it's fine. The kind of the feel of it is more indie coffee shop than a Starbucks. But the one thing I would say about Uphold, not all of these exchanges sell or offer this all of the cryptos. Some like Uphold has like some other like harder to find ones. There was one. The reason I started using it was there was one I wanted to buy that Coinbase didn't have, so just to set up an account. Ended up selling that crypto anyway, so it didn't matter. But it is an option. The third one, crypto.com. So this one, it's similar to Coinbase and Uphold. It's a little slicker. They have a loyalty coin, kind of like Binance did, and they try to keep you in their kind of their ecosystem. The vibe feel there is smooth on the surface, but you're always kind of side eyeing their next move. I think if you're in tech, I think this is a good uh, whatever you call it, a comparison. But think of Coinbase as like a Mac, Uphold as like Linux, and crypto as like Microsoft. It's just kind of how they operate. And then the fourth one, Robinhood. Yeah, very simple to use, no trading fees. Originally, I wasn't going to say I don't recommend it, but I'll just go ahead and say I don't recommend it. They a couple reasons. So I'll get into this in a minute, but the idea is kind of that you buy your crypto on an exchange, and then if you're not actively buying and selling it, to transfer it off to a wallet so it's off the exchange and it's more secure where you hold it. So Robinhood has some limitations on that, so that would be enough that would make me not want to use it. But the second thing, the bigger thing was in 2021, that whole GameStop short squeeze thing was happening, where it was jumping up, hundreds of dollars and in a day and all that good stuff. What Robinhood did was they claimed it was a liquidity issue, but they took away the buy button, which totally destroyed all like the momentum that the investors had, and that has left a bad taste in a lot of investors' mouths. So use that information how you will. Yeah. Ask about the airport analogy. So this is something analogy that I stole from somebody, but I really liked it. Think of an exchange, a crypto exchange, like an airport. You have to use it to fly somewhere, but you don't want to live there, and you definitely don't want to store your money there. So get it off when you can. All right. So if we're saying don't keep it on the exchange, where should we keep it? So you can keep it on an exchange. It's not like life or death or anything like that. Especially like if you're very active at like trying to day trade this stuff for some reason. Keep it on the exchange because you kind of have to. Some examples: Coinbase, Uphold. We just talked about those. There is some risk there. If the exchange were to get hacked, your crypto could get lost. If the exchange gets sued or something like that, they could liquidate the crypto and have to settle after the fact. But I don't know. That kind of takes a lot of ownership and stuff away. So the ideal thing to do is to buy it on the exchange and transfer it to either a hot or a cold wallet. So a hot wallet, think of it, it's just an app that you would download from the App Store. Zaman is a popular one for XRP. Kraken does a couple other ones. I think Bitcoin and some others. The risk, it's a little bit better, but again, this is an app that's on your phone. So if your phone were to get stolen and you had it unlocked or something, somebody would have access to your funds. Now it's the same as like your bank account app or whatever, but I don't know. For a little bit more security, there's cold wallets, and cold wallets is really the same thing as a hot wallet. It's just an app on your phone, but it has a hardware device that something like, I don't know if you can see that, something like this. It's like a USB key. It's like an RSA token or something like that. That to use the Arculus or Ledger wallet app, you need this thing either near it or it'll give you a code that you type in. So just think of it just like an RSA token. All right, so we talked a lot about wallets. I just want to touch on it a little bit more. So think of a crypto wallet like if Apple Wallet, PayPal, and eBay had a baby, and you own the keys to it. So what does that mean? If you were to have an Apple Wallet, PayPal, and eBay, you would have to have three different accounts: one with Apple, one with PayPal, and one with eBay. Um, what a crypto wallet is, when you download this wallet and fund it with some crypto, um, you'll it'll create a very fancy, secure, like super They call it like a seed phrase, but think of it just as like a very secure password. That's your restore key. So if you lost your phone or something and you need to reinstall this stuff, you would rebuild that wallet with this seed phrase. Um, it's a little bit more difficult to kind of manage because you're responsible for that seed phrase. If you lost it or something like that, you could potentially lose your funds. But it is more secure in the fact that you're not relying on Apple or PayPal or eBay security for your stuff. It's all held local. The seed phrase is established on your local device, and it's all in your hands or your custody. And then I think you can already see it if you have a PayPal or a Venmo account. You go in there now; it'll tell you how much cash you have in there. And I think it was Venmo has like a little container now that has crypto, so you can buy like Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum. But I know you can buy Bitcoin on at least one of those, and it'll put it just like this screenshot. But again, it'll have all your different assets, cash, crypto, and then other assets that have been tokenized, like your house and everything, all in one place. I don't want to get into it too deep, but there will be other things that will fit into wallets, things like identity. So think of like your password to Facebook. Instead of going to Facebook and having a Facebook account, you would have a Facebook token, and you would pass that instead. So everything the online experience will be kind of focused off of the assets in your wallet, whether it's an ID or financial. All right, my wife's least favorite slide: how I got scammed so you don't have to. It's the one in red. So fake customer support. So Coinbase support does not email you first. I'm convinced email or Coinbase doesn't even have support. Try to reach out to them, you won't get it. But I mean, that's okay because exchanges, they just work. You go in, you set up your bank account, you go and buy something, and then you can transfer it off if you need to. So don't respond if you do get into this. Don't respond to any emails that you get from any of your exchanges or anything saying that some transfer's been initiated or something. You can safely ignore all of that stuff because they will not email you. So the next one, just send me some crypto and I'll double it. So this is more of like an online thing. So like if you're in social media and you're following some of these people that are crypto influencers or whatever, this is a common thing that you'll get DM'd, that they all are direct messages or private messages, whatever you call it. I have my own exchange and send me some crypto to this wallet address and you can use my exchange and it's way better and blah, 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 blah. If you do get into social media and you start following some of these people, just ignore all DMs or private messages. New exchanges no one's heard of with flashy designs and fake volumes. So we kind of went over FTX earlier. Pretty much the same thing. Scammers know that crypto is an emerging market and there's a lot of people that are very interested in it. So it's very easy, especially with AI now, to set up a fake site that looks like it works and it's legitimate and all this stuff. And then you fund it with your bank connection or something, or you send crypto to it and they lock it all up and then you're just out those funds. So stick to some of the ones that we talked about today, or if you do your own research, whatever. Just make sure that these things aren't too scammy. The last one, AI assisted impersonators on social media. So when I first really started getting into this stuff, I was following a bunch of influencers on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. What what some of these scammers do is they use AI to scrape like an influencer's page, like their picture, all of their content, all like everything, and then they change the name just slightly, so they'll use like a one instead of an I or an L or something, and um, and they automate it too. So what they'll do is I went to follow this one guy that I liked, and immediately after I followed him, I got a follow back, and I was thinking awesome. And then I get a direct message saying, "Oh, I see that you follow me. I see that you like my stuff. Well, the way that this stuff really works is that I have my own exchange, transfer some money over, and that's kind of like how that how like the people that know what they're doing, that's what they use." So I transferred, yeah, $2,000 worth of Bitcoin to one of these, and it's still there locked up. So again, just don't trust people online, especially if they come to you wanting to talk about crypto. Just ignore it all. I wish I would have. All right, so back to the present moment. So I know all that stuff sounds like super futuristic and stuff like that. So just bringing it back to like some of the stuff that's happening like right now. So mid last year, Donald Trump says at the Nashville Bitcoin conference that the U.S. will be the crypto capital of the planet. That sounds amazing. And then December last year, Trump appoints former PayPal exec David Sachs as the AI and crypto czar. I don't know what that means, but it sounds important. So that means president's looking at it and it's ramping up. Now this one's kind of funny and it's kind of a moonshot, but I'm hoping for it. I thought I would share. So earlier this year, Eric Trump says at this conference or in this interview that specifically U.S.-made cryptos will have favorable capital gains. The rumor is, and he did say that U.S.-based will not have U.S.-based cryptos like XRP and some others will not have capital gains tax going forward. Now, I don't know. That hasn't ever been confirmed, and it was just Eric. So if you trust it, you trust it. I'm just hoping for it. Early March, Donald Trump posted, I think on Truth or Twitter, or X, either one. The U.S. crypto reserve will elevate, blah 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 blah, and then he basically says, yeah, we're looking at XRP, Solana, and ADA, which is Cardano. That was awesome. I remember that morning. It was a Sunday morning. I think XRP jumped up like 30% in like an hour, and it came back down. But you could see kind of how this news will affect this stuff. And I think right now, based on news, it shoots up, kind of comes down, and that's kind of what we've been seeing. I think once it really starts getting used is when you start seeing major jumps. Right after he posted that, a couple minutes later, he comes back out and says, "Oh yeah, we're also looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum." I don't know why he phrased it that way, but he did. All right, so what else is going on? So financial institutions are building with this stuff. I went out to a couple of bank websites. They're regular bank websites. And I grabbed this off of one. I won't call out which financial institution it is, but you see that they are planning for their proprietary digital payment system. They use terms like no real in the legacy, the gray stuff at the top. The current day payment rails, basically how money transfers through this stuff. There's no real-time transfers. There's trapped liquidity. Blah 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 blah. And then at the bottom you have like their new proprietary digital payment on-chain ecosystem. It has real-time transfers. It's up 24/7, 365. We've optimized liquidity. All that is saying, all that is crypto. They're just not calling it crypto. So these big financial institutions are using the tech. They just aren't calling it what we know, what it means. And this is going to be kind of what it looks like, a boring transition, and one day we'll all be using it. All right, so some quick news or some news to look out for to show you kind of where we are in this process. Legacy headlines, so stuff that saying like the SWIFT or the IMF or central banks are quietly overhauling, or they're testing out digital ledger technology or on-chain technology, or a lot of blockchain or whatever. All those things really mean crypto. They're just not calling it crypto. And then we have Ripple's legal battles and regulatory moves. So Ripple is the company that makes XRP. 4 years ago, under different administrations, SEC sued Ripple for how they deemed that XRP was selling itself. They said they were marketing and selling themselves as a security. Ripple came out and said, no, we're a commodity. What does that mean? Think of a security as like a share of stock. Think of a commodity as like corn or oil. When you're buying, if you go out to Coinbase and you buy an XRP, you're not buying a share of Ripple or a share of XRP. You're buying a coin, part of the infrastructure. So what we really, really want to hear is SEC deems that XRP is a commodity. That's very good news, not just for XRP, but it sets precedents for if this ever comes up again. So that's very good news. And then another one to look out for is tokenization from the big guys. So if you hear like BlackRock or Citi or JP Morgan are testing tokenization, or they're exploring tokenization, that's really good, because that means these guys are looking to start using this stuff. And once it starts getting used, that's when the price just has to go up. All right, so this is a quick 2-minute video. I put it in here because I a lot of stuff that's new, and I don't want you to think I'm crazy. Other people are talking about this with way more followers and stuff than I have. So just a quick video. I think it's like 2 minutes.
Every realtor watching this is going to hate me, but you need to know the hidden truth about real estate. Think about this. Americans pay $100 billion in real estate commissions every single year. Yet buying a house still takes months, buried in paperwork and endless steps. It's completely broken. But here's the secret revolution. Blockchain technology is slashing property transaction times by 60%. Yes, 60%. How? Smart contracts on blockchain automate almost everything. Verification, documentation, cutting out the expensive middlemen like title and escrow, and it's secure, transparent, and lightning fast. But here's the thing, it's not just a theory. This is already happening right now. And it's already a $300 million global market, projected to hit nearly $4 billion by 2028. And it's happening right now. Don't believe me? Check out sites like property.com. People can go on there, browse listings right now, see properties they can buy directly using traditional money or crypto, all secured through the blockchain. They literally turn property titles into secure digital NFTs, making ownership transfers verifiable and unbelievably fast. And properties already process $4 billion in transactions this way. And buyers have been saving between $20,000 and $30,000 in closing fees. And we're talking closing in days, not months. Like in Sweden, for example, the way that they do land registry is already being done this way. Imagine the Amazon of real estate. Picture instant loan approvals linked directly to blockchain platforms, enabling you to browse, click, get pre-approved, and close on a property 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. No waiting on banks, no waiting on offices to open up. And this isn't some far-off dream. It's happening. Blockchain is fundamentally changing the way we buy, sell, and invest in property, removing this traditional, slow, expensive way that's been dying. So pay attention, and I'll keep you in touch with the revolution.
All right, so Brian Decker, whatever, if you go on Instagram or TikTok, he might be on. He's got a bunch of followers. Definitely gives good information. He's not trying to sell anything or anything. It's really just good information on what's going on. All right, so final thoughts. I think I have like 2 slides after this, but they're like really quick. So if you wanted to do more research on your own, just some recommendations. So when looking into this stuff, look at it, like what it actually does, like what purpose, what solution is this crypto kind of known for, what is it kind of geared to do. Think about like, do I trust the company backing it? Yeah. Are there things being built with it? So if you go onto social media and start following like Web3 developers or any crypto guys, they'll talk about projects that they're seeing and stuff like that. If you start seeing, the same cryptos being used that are being built for, those are the ones I would focus on. And then think about if you're into coding or programming, developing, if you're technical at all, especially with how good AI is now, you can definitely build these things. Go out to vendor's website, go out to like XRP's website, and it'll say, use these programming languages. These are our hooks, and come up with ideas, and you could build it. The last thing, grant program. So like again, if you go out to like Ripple's website, it's either Ripple's or XRP's, I forget which one, but they have an amazing like grant program. They're giving anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000 for individuals or companies or whatever to build on their platform. And if you go out, you'll see there's been hundreds, thousands of these grants issued, and a lot of people are building. And they're giving really generous grants for not that creative of solutions. So again, if you're coding or a developer, definitely look into that. It's just some miscellaneous stuff. So crypto markets are different than buying the stock market. Stock market is what, 9:30 to 4, Monday through Friday, no holidays, no blah blah blah. Crypto markets, you can go on Coinbase at 3 o'clock in the morning and buy something if you want to, which is funny because 3 o'clock in the morning is typically when the good stuff happens. But this also is good because it takes away like after hours and before market hours where all the good stuff happens, where we're not allowed to participate. All that kind of goes away. Know what you hold. So what I mean by that is don't go out to Coinbase and put a bunch of money on, or even a lot of money on a bunch of different cryptos just to kind of like scatter your money around. Look at which ones like are poised to do stuff that people are building with, and focus on those. Which kind of leads into the next point. The more cryptos that you have, the different ones, you're going to run into more problems. If you want to get them off like the exchange and onto a wallet, not every wallet holds every crypto, so then you run into problems where you have to have all these multiple wallets and stuff like that. Yeah, so I wouldn't go out and just buy a ton of different ones because then you just get into issues. And just a reminder that crypto, not magic money, it's just better internet tech. Some future tradings that I'm thinking about putting together. Would love feedback if anybody's interested in any of these. I want to do a deeper dive into building with Web3. What, like really specifically what some of these cryptos do and some ideas that I have that I'm looking into. But I would love to put together something for that. Another one, investor security and hold strategy. So there are, strategies that I've researched and have used on like how to manage this stuff and how to manage those seed phrases when you stand up new wallets and stuff like that. And hold strategy, meaning you could day trade this stuff, but it is it's right now we're considered a little bit early. So like what to expect on like how news is could play out. Additionally, and I don't want to go too deep here, crypto is designed or programmed to be deflationary. There are set amount of these things that are minted, and unlike the dollar that can continuously be printed, there is a set amount. So you have control over how much there are, but also when these things are used, specifically XRP is designed every time it's used, a very small portion, tiny portion is burned off forever. And that's the 3 to 5, or the couple of cents that you pay, that's burned off forever. So the overall population of these coins go down over time. So they get less scarce the more you hold, or if you're holding it, it gets more valuable that way. And then the last one, my website, I'm developing this onboarder thing. It's going to have like simulations and stuff. Like if you want to practice transferring and buying on exchanges, I'm setting that up now. I'm trying to have that whole entire onboarding thing free. So please check it out if you get a chance. It's not up yet, but I'll send something out. So truth about ownership, and then I think I just have one slide after this. So if you have your crypto in a self-custody wallet like a Ledger or a Zaman, basically that means off the exchange, you can safely ignore every email, direct message, or link that is sent to you. Ledger's never going to send you anything that says your account's been hacked, because they don't know if it's been hacked, because you don't have an account with them. You created it on your device when you set up that ledger. So very cool. You can, it does away with a lot of fraud and scams and stuff like that. But just knowing that and not having to worry about it is pretty awesome. So that's what I consider real ownership. That's really what Web3 is. So I do have one quick slide or one quick video. It's just a quick demo of buying something on Coinbase. If you've bought or sold stuff already, you probably don't need to watch this, but I just wanted to show real quickly how easy it is. But before that, I did set up like a community fund thing on my webpage. If you go there and if you register on the webpage, like I replaced like the registration with a donation thing. It's definitely not necessary, but if you wanted to check it out, please read. And 100% will always go to charity or charity or community. So it's not going to me. So please check that out. And then just going back here, this is just a quick overview of buying and selling crypto. And it kind of starts off, I already have Coinbase. When you download Coinbase, it'll ask you quick identification purpose for tax purposes. So you'll have to take a picture of your face, a picture of your license or whatever. Whatever happens, they verify you and they say, okay, you're good to go. And then you connect it to your bank account. And then just like any other thing, you connect it to your bank account, and then it allows you to buy it, and it just pulls from your bank account. So all that's been done. This is just kind of buying and selling with Coinbase.
In this video, I'm going to walk you through buying, selling, converting crypto on a crypto exchange today using Coinbase. So if you haven't already, download Coinbase or your exchange of choice from the App Store. First time you open it, it'll walk you through a few steps to identify yourself for tax purposes, and then also to establish a bank connection to fund the account. So we're going to open Coinbase. You're going to land on the home screen. Your navigation is down here at the bottom. The second one over is your assets. That's where I normally hang out. So click on your assets, come up here, and you search for the asset that you're looking to buy. Here, XRP. We're going to choose that. We're going to come down here to the buy sell button, and we're going to click buy. Here we type in the dollar amount that we'd like to purchase. Here it's going to tell you how many of the coin it's buying. Here is the bank account that you've established a connection with. You can have multiple. And then here's confirming the asset. You would click review order, and then you would click buy now. sell or convert an asset that you already own, we're going to be on the My Asset screen down here, and you click on one of the assets you own, and once it's open, you click Buy Sell, and the selling and the converting is basically the same thing. So we'll go to Sell, and here again you can either click Sell or Convert. Selling would typically be to either a stable coin or hash, or if you would like, you can switch it to a different crypto, and we would click Convert, and then we would select the crypto that we want to convert it to. Once we have that set up, we would type in the dollar amount, view order, and then convert.
Yeah, so that's basically it. And then the only last thing I have is transferring. You might have seen it. It's right next to the buy sell button. It'll say transfer. You'll click transfer. You'll have your wallet address. It's a long string of characters that you get from your wallet. It'll say, okay, which asset do you want to send? You click on your asset, and then you post it. It's basically like sending an email. But if you were to go through, if you are to do, if you are planning on doing those type of transfers, my tip would be just to practice with the smallest amount possible. If you buy $1,000, don't try to send it all on your first try. Do a small amount. Go back to your wallet, see if it showed up. Once it showed up, you know everything's good to go, and then you can feel free to transfer it off. So I think that's all I have. Thank you for calling or for logging in or whatever. I hope it was beneficial. And if you have any feedback or whatever on any next trainings that would be interesting, please let me know. Thank you. Bye.